Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Pizza Time Chronicles. It is time to get lost in the pizza sauce. Everybody, you already know we bring nothing but the best when it comes to Pizza Time Chronicles. And today I have an amazing guest, Hazel McGriff. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing great. Yes, I was off of work today, so that's good.
That's always good to hear when we get to be off of work and actually just enjoy ourselves for once. Hazel, introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Hazel McGriff, and I am a mother of two, and I'm married, and I work for the school system. And I've been working in the school system for about 21 years. This year makes 21 years. I am a new author, and this year, February, month that we're in right now, makes 1 year of me being a self-published author. I'm very excited. The name of my LLC is Shine and Soar, and it's Shine and Soar Books and Merchandise. So I have not one, not two, but three children's books, and I'm very excited about that.
That's awesome, Hazel. And we're going to make sure to be talking about your books, your business. But I want to start off this interview with the importance of education. You've been in education for over 20 years. How has that journey been?
Well, I really enjoy working with the public. And before I worked in education, I used to work in the medical field. But the medical field, I wanted to do something a little different because I didn't like working weekends and holidays. So I decided to use my degree and go into education. And it's been very rewarding. I didn't always start in elementary. I started at the high school, and I worked in a guidance center at the high school as an admin assistant. So I'm very familiar with working with the public and familiar with working with students, kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. And I also work with them at my church because I'm on the education scholarship ministry, and I help out with scholarships and different programs for young people. So I really enjoy working with people.
Oh, that's great. I mean, definitely, I have to say the Philadelphia school system, I love working with the students from Philadelphia. They are so motivated, they're so inspired, so professional. I mean, it doesn't matter who I meet from the Philadelphia school system. They're just great people overall. And I can only imagine how you feel getting to work with them on an everyday basis. I mean, what's the main impact that you feel working in the Philadelphia school system?
Actually, I don't work in the Philadelphia school system. I work in
Okay.
the Montgomery County school system.
Okay.
And the school district that I work in is called Upper Dublin School District in Montgomery County. So
Okay.
I grew up in Philadelphia. So I was educated in the Philadelphia school system, but I happen to work like a couple miles outside of Philadelphia. But either way, there's people from all different backgrounds and different, um, cultures and everything is pretty it's not as diverse as Philadelphia is, but either way, the particular school I work in is pretty diverse, what have you. Like I said, I really like helping the children, and in the book, speaking of me becoming an author, is something that we were doing during the pandemic, and my principal wanted me to help the boys and girls be safe in our school. And I decided to, the tool that I used was something that the children had, which were their arms, and we just called it Young Buddy Arms. But before we called the book Young Buddy Arms, we called it Airplane Arms, we called it Noodle Arms, and we just called it surfboards. It was basically something that they understood to keep them social distancing from one student to the other student. What have you. But just watching them one day, just the other day, one of the students was like, Mrs. Griff, do you have any pets? And I was like, matter of fact, I do. So I decided to bring a picture of this is a little tabby cat, little cat of my son's. It's our family pet. And I brought it in. It just made them feel so happy that, I took the time out to bring something of our household to bring it in and put it in the frame and put it at the desk. Because I work in the library with the children of Upper Dublin.
And I just want to ask, you're working with children. I can only imagine you have different experiences every day. Some of them are funny, some of them, you're confused by what they say sometimes. What do- can you
Yes.
what can you say was like the most funniest situation you've been in? Like, what there was there a time that you remember that just always brings a smile to your face?
Well, there's a lot of different things that the students say to me or whatever. I mean, I would this is Black History Month, so I'm wearing a lot of different Afrocentric clothing or what have it. But one little boy has said to me, he says, "Oh, Mrs. McGriff, you're a queen." And I said, "Oh yes, I am a queen." And I said, "Your mommy's a queen too." He said, "Oh, she is." So when he went home, he told his mother that she was a queen. And he says, "Well, where did you get that from?" "Oh, Mrs. McGriff said that she's a queen and you're a queen too, Mom." So it was just so funny. It's just the little things that, that you say and they get so excited about it. Or if they have their clothes on wrong, "Oh, it's okay. It's okay. I dressed myself, Mrs. McGriff. I'll fix it later," things like that.
Oh, that's awesome. And working with the youth, I love working with the youth. And I think the one thing that I see with your leadership is that you want to be that leader that you needed when you were growing up. I think that's the
Yes.
beauty. I think that's a type of toughness that comes with working with the youth because you want to be a leader to them, but you also want, in a sense, be their friend. You want to be the person that they can rely on. Um, and maybe they don't see it in that sense then, but they can remember you as they grow. Mrs. McGriff helped me with this. I remember Mrs. McGriff because some of the mannerisms, or they, like you said, sometimes when, because different schools handle things differently. They may see that their clothes are backward. They may discipline them versus instead of, hey, it's okay, we all make mistakes.
Mhm.
Educators all have a different way of handling certain situations like that. But I think it's great with what you're doing because you're very community based. Um, you love to get involved, and as well as you adore your students. My next question is involving the education. What do you feel? What do you feel is a problem we're facing now with education, especially when it comes to our children?
Well, right now, in the current situation that we're in with the pandemic, there's some kids that's facing a lot of, you know, lack of skills and stuff because it was like you were in school, then you were out of school, then you were online, then you're in school, and it wasn't consistent and everything. So I think that the more training, because the world is changing, what have you. So the laptops and the computers and things of that nature, even if you're in the pandemic or not, uh, education is like it's changing, shifting a little bit. So even in person, you have to still learn the technology and everything. And the young people, they know technology a lot. It's like I was calling him my 13-year-old, but he was like, I don't think he wanted to come in to try to help me with it, but they know a lot because they have technology that we didn't have when we were young. They have their phones. That's like a little tablet. They have a computer in their hands or what have you. So there's a lot of things that's different and it's going to continue to change or what have you. So we just have to just adapt to the change, especially with the situation that we're with the pandemic.
Yes, of course. I know with the pandemic, it also challenged the accessibility that we have to technology as well. I know when the pandemic um, basically started, I mean, everybody's like, hey, jump on your computers, jump on your laptops. And as easy as that sound, not everybody had that accessibility. And as well as
Hmm.
accessibility to Zoom, it was just, I remember it just kind of revealed like, okay, it's not easy for every family. It's not easy for every child. For some children, they don't prefer to learn online. It's not because they don't want to. It's hard to sit down in front of a computer for all. I mean, if they're doing it for fun, yes, they
Hmm.
will stay there.
Absolutely. Yes.
But if it's to learn, they're gonna be like, no, I don't want to be here. This is too long. They're staring at a screen all day. So
Hmm.
I know that accessibility piece was a huge thing when it came to the pandemic because it really revealed that a lot of families didn't have access to good Wi-Fi. They didn't have access to laptops. Thankfully the schools were able to provide them, but some schools weren't able to provide them as quickly
Hmm.
as compared to other schools. Some schools were prepared, like they can just give out the laptops and they're ready to go. Some schools, um, some other schools are, unfortunately, they are underfunded, and
Hmm.
getting that type of technology that quick, it's going to take weeks. And fortunately, some students are behind, some students are ahead, and I can only imagine when we start, even we are right now integrating back in person. I guess the question is, how far do you think students are going to be behind, or do you believe they're going to excel as they continue to develop?
Well, there's a big gap because I know one of my friends, she's a second grade teacher, and so she has the kids that came in the beginning of the pandemic. So those were like the kindergartners in 2000 and 2000. So now we're in 2022. So they're already like 2 years behind, and she's trying to, it's like they're in first grade, but they're really in second grade. But those skills and things were just you know not taught because they were in the middle of we all had to go home or what have you. So they say preschool, kindergarten is very, very important. And some of those kids didn't even have that. What have many of them didn't have it, what have you. So I don't know how they're going to. I mean, I'm glad I'm the admin assistant. I'm not the teacher, so I don't know how they're going to be able to correct that. I can only do but so much on my part. But the people that are responsible for that or what have you, and then parents that don't really know, you know, the technology, or either maybe there is other people raising kids. It's not always just a parent. It could be a guardian, it could be a grandparent. Everybody's situations are different. So there's a lot of loss and there's a lot of gap. So maybe there would be summer school, or other different things to help fix that, because it's going to be generation or year after year of loss. And once they get to third grade, if they don't have the skills by then, they say that some of the kids are just not going to really matriculate well when it comes to taking the standardized tests and the PSSAs and all of those different things, because you don't have those skills to even take those standardized cross the border exams.
Right. That I can only imagine that the challenge is still ahead of us. We're living in the challenge now. But I definitely have huge hopes that most students are this is an opportunity for students to figure out their learning styles early, what best fits them. I think this also gives the future educators, the challenge of integrating their classroom to make sure that they are adapting to the needs of the students and their learning styles. I think this is honestly creating change that is necessary.
Mhm.
Um, and as well as, is challenging administrators as well. What is the next decision? What decision best fits our students? So as much challenges as we're seeing, I also see greatness in the next couple of years, especially with our children, because they're going to be resilient. They're going to be able to adapt to new situations, especially like
Mhm.
the one we're in right now. Um, it's nothing but good things. I truly see it. But
Yes.
now I want to transition. I understand you got your own LLC, Shine and Soar. Can you tell us a
Mhm.
little bit more about that?
Yes. My Shining Sword LLC, I got the name shine. I'm shining for Jesus because I'm very, I'm a grounded Christian, and I truly believe that God gives me visions and stuff, and they come through dreams or come through other people. A lot of my stuff has been coming through people sharing things with me. Oh, you should do that, and I'm like, well, maybe I should try that. I would have it because we were already using our little arms to walk through the schools and everything, but I didn't know I was going to write a book. And then SOAR came in to. I have two boys, and I said, I think the business was going to soar. It's going to take off. I'm not going to just do one book, two books. I'm going to continue to keep on, writing books, because we're not going to be here forever. I would like to leave a legacy. And even if the boys don't want to continue with it, at least it can stay open, and maybe perhaps their grandchildren or what have you, but pass the rights down to them. And merchandise came along with the books because the boys and girls saw me with a little T-shirt on that said "Young Buddy Arms, Arthur Hazel McGriff," and people said they liked it. And I was like, I thought it was just my work T-shirt just to advertise my books. So I had to, start getting other things that people enjoyed, and people actually buy them when I do my vending or whatnot. And like I said, this month made a year, and I'm just so excited that, first of all, I sustained a year of doing it in the middle of a pandemic, and I've written 3 books, as I stated. The first one is a reading book. The second one is a activity coloring book for boys and girls, mask wearing, different things that they do when they're outside playing and engaging with their friends or what have you. Crossword puzzles, connect the dots, things of that nature, using their motor skills. And then the third book, I'm very excited about that one, which came out in November, and that is about vaccines, hygiene, manners, continuing social distancing, and careers for boys and girls when they get older. So it's like a series of 3 books, and they all kind of tie into safety. So I'm excited about that.
And I also like that you threw in relatability, especially what they're exposed to right now. This is going to be instilled in their mindset. We don't know. I personally think this is the new normal. This
Yes,
is
I
how
do too.
this is how things are going to be. For some people, they don't agree with it, but it is what it is now. I mean, this is people are going to be way more protective. They want to ensure safety. Guidelines are always enforced. And I think it's good that you're putting it more in a fun way that they will understand,
Yes,
rather
yes.
than scaring them to the point that they don't want to do it or
Hmm.
that they can't go out to the world and be safe. But I think it's great that they have this book that they can look at and they see that it is safe and that they can still pursue their dreams and goals. I know you touched base upon legacy. Um, do you feel that your business now is going to contribute to your legacy, and how do you feel you're going to be remembered?
Well, I would like to be remembered through the gifts and talents that I had inside, and God brought them out. And the only way I can share them is to put it in writing. And now doing videos and doing things that's YouTubes and podcasts and all these different things. Once they're out there forever. And once the books are out there, and the more people get them, the more they're marketing in different places. And your legacy, because someone shared with me today, you're famous, you're an author, and your name is on Amazon, your name is on Google, and your name is here, and your name is there. It's sharing your gifts with the world. I can do it in my building, but what about helping the other children in other school settings, in other daycare settings, in other places around the world? The only way we can do that is to do it in writing, or you can do maybe perhaps audio books or what have you, but you want to be able to leave something, because I believe that these books are going to be part of history. Because what was 100 years ago? Hazel McGriff, this lady wrote these books. So I'm not going to be here, but I'm just saying, like, that history is here to stay. And I believe that it's going to soar. It's taking its time, but I believe it's going to take off. What have you. So that's what I am believing God that He shared this gift with me to share. And when I'm a grandmother or when I'm retired or what have you, I have more time to, you know, travel and do more read alouds and activities. And I speak to one of my other mentors that lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. She was giving me some different ideas. You can even have an academy, Young Buddy Arms Academy, because that's my logo. It started with Young Buddy Arms. So I have my Facebook, I have all the, different things that have Young Buddy Arms. Now I want to look into perhaps some character dolls or what have you. I don't know where this is going, but I'm just going with it.
And that's amazing, Hazel. Really, it truly is. And I love that you mentioned that it's a part of history. You put a piece of you out there. Well, three
Hmm.
pieces of you out there. You probably
Hmm.
want to produce more. And I can only imagine
Oh,
that you
yes.
do. Um, especially someone who's an aspiring author now. I never thought about that. I never thought in terms of that this is part of history now, that this is gonna be out there for the world even when I'm gone. Um,
Hmm.
People are gonna turn back to this. So that's very beautiful that you put in that mindset. And that really encourages also the viewers now, when you put something out into the world, just know it's a part of history. That people
That's
are
right.
gonna remember you for that thing, whether if it's video, audio, or in writing. Because now there's multiple ways you can do it.
That's right.
Um, just know you're going to be a part of history. So if you ever question yourself or why you should do something, know that it's a part of your legacy. It's going to be a part of history.
Hmm.
Hazel, I got two more questions for you. Um, the next one I'm going to ask is, what is next for you? What is next for Hazel?
I'm glad you asked. Yes, those books are children's books, but my next book, I am planning on hopefully getting out this year. And it's going to be about our youngest son. And our youngest son, we had a special ceremony for him. So it'll be an informational book about the special ceremony that we had for him, which was called the Rite of Passage. And in different cultures, they do different birthday celebrations for their children when they turn a teenager, what have you. But I'm going to write about the ceremony that we had for our child, which was an African American culture celebration, what have you. So I like to write about what I know. I can't write about something about someone else's ethnic background or whatever because I don't know about that. So I can write about my experience and it makes it a little easier for me. And it also flows better or what have you. So that is the next book that I plan on publishing this year in 22. And I'm excited about it. And I just have to get on my computer and get to typing because it's already different things is kind of written out in my little steno book or whatever, but I just have to, you know, get on the computer and then I go through the different company that I deal with and everything. And then before you know it, I'll have another book out.
Amazing.
And I have other books. Yeah, I really want to write a book about me, but God said it's not about
Yeah.
me right now. I was like, well, I want to write my biography, but I believe that all these other books will go into that book about Hazel McGriff. But right now, I need to do the different topics and the different things that he's called me to do. And I think that's why things are so successful because you have to be obedient. And
Right.
before I said, I serve God. And he hired me about 30 something years ago when I got saved. So I always said I wanted to write a book, but I never knew when I was going to write a book. And then all of a sudden, in the pandemic, here I am becoming an author.
And that's amazing. And whenever those books get produced, just know the world's ready for you. The world is ready to read it, and the world is ready to receive it. And hopefully, you'll get all the feedback that you were hoping for. You definitely will get feedback from me. Um, Hazel, last question. I asked all my
Mhm,
guests this. Um, so with the Pizza Time Chronicles, we love pizza on this show.
mhm.
I like to ask, what is your favorite slice of pizza, and where's that pizza from?
My favorite, I I don't really have a favorite, but I like mushrooms. I would say that's my favorite.
Okay.
Everyone in my house doesn't like mushroom pizza, but I like mushrooms on my pizza or whatever. And it's this place out here, not far from where we live. It's called Esposito's. I believe it's called Esposito. No, and no, it's not that. It's called the Ambler. The Ambler Pizza Shop over
Okay.
on Bethlehem Pike. They deliver. There's no in dining because of the pandemic. You can call ahead or you can call on a number. You wait outside for it, but they sell very good pizza and mushroom pizza, but they like what you have on, which is pepperonis. They like their meat eaters. They like pepperoni, they like sausages, they like all the different cheeses. Just give me, they were like, oh, mushroom, that's mom's side. Just give her a piece by herself because we don't know mushrooms.
Oh
Yes.
man. Well, that's amazing, Hazel. It was such an honor to have you onto the show today. I think people are going to get great value from watching this, especially in what you do for our youth, and what you do now as an administrator. You are just destined for greatness, and you place great value onto the world now. And we're so grateful for you, and we cannot wait for what you have in store for the future. Everybody, make sure you don't get too lost in the pizza sauce because, see, that is too much sodium. You don't need that in your life. I already had hypertension. You don't need that. Everybody, enjoy yourself. We have way more. We have a lot more guests coming on to the show. Um, thank you so much for joining us tonight. You have a great one.